let's talk quarterbacks. Brock Purdy entering his third year. NFC West has some really good quarterbacks. Why don't we rank them in ascending order from 4 to 1 for fun?
Okay. I would say, first of all, there's some pretty good quarterbacks in the NFC West. Um,
Mhm.
okay, and which means there's competition for Brock. I would say number 4, but it doesn't mean bad. Number 4 is the guy up in Seattle.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, you could argue he's number 3, but he just hasn't beaten the Niners. He seems a little timid against the Niners, but his numbers are pretty good. He led the league in completion percentage 2 years ago. He's thrown for 30 touchdowns in a season and 4,000 yards. He's been a Pro Bowler back-to-back years. He's a solid quarterback. Last year, his offensive line was banged up, and he's not as mobile as Russell Wilson, so he got sacked a lot, but I still think he's pretty good.
I always feel he'll throw the interception at exactly the time that's gonna kill the team.
Yeah. I feel like he will stand there and take the sack as opposed to taking the scramble lane that's right in front of him. And I
Right.
don't know why.
Having said all that, he's a really tough competitor. He throws beautifully. He's a quality quarterback, and he's, in my estimation, the low man in of the 4 in that division, but it means they have some pretty good quarterbacks if he's number 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's played with Pete Carroll and his Stone Age offense for the last few years. It's possible with a healthy offensive line and a more up-to-date offensive coordinator that he could take his game up a notch.
He is so lucky that they got rid of Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll had lasted way past his sell-by date. All he did on the sideline, as far as I could tell, was chew gum.
A lo
He's a
aggressively.
aggressive gum chewer, right?
It seemed like he's one of these coaches where you're watching a Seahawks game and the camera pans to him 45 times a
Yeah.
quarter. It's like, do we have to watch him after every play? Do we need to get his instant reaction to every play? Why?
I got so tired of him. I
Yeah,
did. So,
yeah,
okay, I'm gonna say number 3 is Kyler Murray over at Arizona.
yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I do agree with it, although probably just based on statistics, Geno's had some better years. I think with Kyler, there's still like a belief that he's gonna put it all together because you've seen flashes. Like he's so athletic, he's so quick, he has such a strong arm. He can make some incredible plays like young Russell Wilson, but there's also been reports about him not being that passionate about the sport or not a great leader, and he's torn his ACL. So he's at like a critical moment in his career. Like, how much does it mean to him? And last year, it seemed like with the new coach, he did real well. He was the comeback player of the year.
I think the coach they have over there is excellent, Iggy. I
Yeah,
do. I mean,
was he?
I think he might be one of the best coaches, up and coming coaches. What I like about Kyler Murray, he has ups and downs sides. What I
Mhm.
like is he's really mobile, he's exciting, and he has an arm like Russell Wilson. He can
He
really
really
pull
does.
out a game, really pull out a game. I think he's younger than Geno Smith and has more physical ability right now and more potential. I think Geno Smith is who he's going to be. But it's not only that there were rumors that Kyler Murray didn't really work hard at his
That's true.
studying stuff. The coaches
Yeah.
said the coaches said that he didn't.
It was in
That's
his
very
contract. He's not allowed
they
to
have
play
to
that video game in his contract.
right. I mean, no one ever said that Brock Purdy didn't work hard. I mean, the guy's a machine. You can't get him to stop. So that's very bad. If if he continues to be juvenile about his craft.
Yeah, I was talking to Jimmy Ward about Kyler Murray a couple of years ago in the Niners locker room, and I asked him like what he made of that team, and he said when Kyler was young, Larry Fitzgerald was still on that team, and he was the leader of the team and the organization. And when he retired, then Kyler had to be the leader, and he's just wasn't one. So he needs to prove that he can be one because the guys above him on this list are leaders.
J- Jimmy
But
Ward.
Jimmy Ward is great. He's great, right?
Oh,
Oh, well, I want
oh,
to say with Kyler, like compared to Geno, um, Kyler's more dangerous, right? Like you would be more afraid of facing Kyler than facing Geno.
I agree.
Geno's just
I
gonna
agree.
stand there. I don't like
Geno's
quarterbacks who try to play like Peyton Manning when they're not Peyton Manning. Use your freaking legs. What are you doing?
he's sort of like Matt Ryan. Geno
Yeah,
Smith
like
is sort of like Matt
move.
Ryan. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway.
he does
Okay,
get
number 2.
sacked a lot.
Yeah, like, what are you waiting for? You're not Tom Brady. Stop trying to prove that you're a pocket passer. Move around. Brock Purdy does. Number 2 on the list.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
And now let me say, I want to be really clear. Lowell's a hater. Lowell didn't put Brock first, blah, 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 blah. I love Brock Purdy. I love everything about him. And I think he's the perfect quarterback for what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. I'm not saying I love what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. This kid is the perfect quarterback for that. Would you agree, Iggy?
Yes. Certainly.
Um, certainly. He reads really quickly, Iggy. He reads his progressions really quickly. He releases the ball very fast against zone defenses, especially. He is money. He
Mhm.
is so accurate. He has a quarterback's temperament in that he doesn't get flustered. He can get blasted. He gets up, let's play. He, as opposed to Aaron Rodgers, when he gets blasted, you could see it affects him for many, many plays, even the rest of the game. This kid, no. This kid, he's Joe. In that regard, he has a temperament of Joe Montana. Let's play the next play. I love that about him. The only thing where I think I have some doubts about him is he the kind of quarterback when everything is going to hell who could win the game on his own? And I'm not sure he's that quarterback. Now that's asking a lot because there are very few who can do that. Mahomes can do it, and I think the number one guy in this division can do it. But that's the only little gray area I have with Brock Purdy. But if I were assembling a team, I'd be thrilled to have him as my quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, the question, I guess, with him, and number 1 is obviously Stafford on this list. The thing that separates him is that when Stafford went to the Super Bowl, he won. And when Purdy went, he didn't. So Purdy went a lot younger. The question is, can he win it? I think he can. I don't think it's his reason that he's the reason the Niners lost. But Stafford, number 1, I mean, he's not as mobile as Brock Purdy, but Stafford has as good of an arm as any quarterback I've ever seen. His arm is incredible. And he's really tough as well.
Um, do you feel Stafford is a potential Hall of Famer?
I do think so. I think he is a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. Maybe he won't get in because he had all those years in Detroit and maybe his numbers weren't as good as some other guys who won't get in. But when he finally was on a good team, he won a Super Bowl. And that team's going to be good this year too.
They're up and coming.
Yeah.
And Iggy, Stafford has a dynamite arm, plus he's accurate, right?
Yes. I mean, he can do all the stuff with the football that Mahomes can do. Rodgers could do. Like, Rodgers was drafted to the Packers, or a good organization, got to sit behind Brett Favre and throw to a bunch of good wide receivers in his career. Stafford was in that situation. The Packers might have won more than one Super Bowl.
Got it.
So, he's tougher than Aaron Rodgers, mentally, physically. Just
I
as
would
gifted.
absolutely agree.
Yeah.
But Iggy, I don't think he's tougher than Brock Purdy.
No.
No.
Brock Purdy's extremely tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really admire Brock Purdy, and it hurts me in a way because I like him so much to put Stafford over him. And it's a squeaker. You know what I mean? It's a squeaker. But I have to be honest and put the guy over him.
Yeah. Well, Stafford probably won't be number 1 in the division for that much longer. He's 36 years old. So it's going to come down to probably Brock or Kyler to see who makes the next step. And right now it looks like it's probably going to be Brock.
I agree. I would rather have Brock going forward than Kyler Murray. And what's more, that's not a squeaker. No question in my mind.
Yeah, because Kyler's a little bit more mobile than Brock, although Brock's mobile and his arm's a lot stronger than Brock. But I want all of Brock's intangibles, all the leadership and poison stuff that I'm not sure Kyler has.
And throwing over the middle.
And he hasn't torn his ACL.
Hasn't torn his ACL.
Yeah, throwing over the middle is a big one. Kyler can't even see over the middle. Gene J says, should the Niners trade or reconstruct Debo this summer?
I don't think there's any call for either one. Debo seems very happy.
Michael McCann says, Lowell, like all good dads know, if you give in to a tantrum, you get more tantrums. 49ers brought this on themselves by giving in to Debo. Blueprint.
Could be. Could be.
Interesting.
Iggy never threw tantrums.
Well, when I was young, I would sort of see what my older brother could sort of, what would work for him, what didn't work for him. Maybe that's kind of what's going on with Ayuk and Debo. Sort of watch Debo. But I don't know why you would. Well, Debo got his money, so maybe you feel that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Forever says Ayuk using Debo's contract playbook strategy, in my opinion.
Seems like it.
Gino screaming, oh my God, at Aaron Donald Russian sums it up. He did do that.
I would do that too.